Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Today, I stand before you to talk about a powerful and inspiring idea, and nothing is impossible. At first, this phrase may sound like just another motivational slogan. But when we take a deeper look, we realize that it holds within it the strength to transform our lives. Every great invention, every extraordinary achievement, and every revolutionary change in the world began with someone who believed in this very thought. That nothing is impossible. From the Wright brothers who made flying a reality, to scientists who decoded the human genome, to athletes who broke world records, history is filled with people who dared to defy limitations. But this belief is not just for the famous or the extraordinary, it's for you. It's for the student dreaming of success, the entrepreneur fighting to build something new, the individual battling challenges that seem overwhelming. Nothing is impossible when you mix belief with effort, persistence, and courage. Obstacles will always come your way. You will fail. You will hear people say, "You can't do it." Remember, impossible itself says, "I'm possible." What matters most is not what others believe, but what you believe. If you're willing to push through failure, stay focused in the face of distraction, and rise every time you fall, then you will move forward, no matter how far the goal seems. Let us remember that every limit is only as strong as we allow it to be. With determination, discipline, and belief in ourselves, we can achieve more than we ever imagined. Belief is the foundation of all achievement. Everything we accomplish in life begins in the mind. The foundation of every success story is belief, the deep, unshakable conviction that we can achieve what we set out to do. Before action, before planning, before even dreaming, comes belief. Without it, no amount of talent, opportunity, or resources can push a person forward. It is belief that fuels the courage to begin and the strength to continue. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to try, to risk, to learn, and to grow. This internal belief becomes a voice that drowns out doubt and fear. Think about the people who've achieved greatness. Not one of them started with a guarantee of success. But they all began with belief. Belief that their efforts mattered. Belief that their ideas could work. Belief that they were capable of doing something meaningful, even if no one else could see it yet. Belief also transforms challenges. Where others see failure, a believing mind sees feedback. Where others stop at obstacles, a believing heart looks for another route. It's not that believing people don't face problems, they do. But what sets them apart is that they don't let those problems define their future. They believe they can rise above them, and that belief gives them the persistence to keep going. Moreover, belief influences behavior. If you think you can achieve something, your actions begin to align with that thought. You start putting in more effort, taking initiative, showing discipline, and staying consistent. All because you're convinced your goal is within reach. On the other hand, if you don't believe, you subconsciously sabotage yourself. You hesitate, delay, or give up too early. That's why belief isn't just positive thinking. It's the silent architect of your actions and outcomes. Many people wait for others to believe in them first. But the truth is, the world believes in you only after you believe in yourself. You must be your own first supporter, your own first believer. And once you truly believe in your potential, you unlock the energy, focus, and drive that make even the most ambitious dreams attainable. History is proof that limits can be broken. If we look back through the pages of history, we find an undeniable truth. Many of the things that once seemed impossible were eventually achieved by those bold enough to challenge the status quo. Human progress has always been written by individuals who refuse to accept the limits imposed by society, science, or even nature. These people didn't just accept the world as it was, they imagined the world as it could be. There was a time when flying in the sky was considered a fantasy. People believed that humans were simply not meant to leave the ground. Yet the Wright brothers, through vision and relentless effort, broke that barrier. Today, air travel is not only possible, it's routine. Similarly, climbing Mount Everest was once deemed impossible due to the brutal conditions and extreme altitude. But Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay reached the summit, proving that human endurance could overcome even the harshest of environments. And it's not just in the world of exploration or invention. Social limits have been broken too. There were times when women couldn't vote, when racial segregation was the law, when education was a privilege of the few. But courageous leaders, like Nelson Mandela, Rosa Parks, Malala Yousafzai, and countless others, stepped forward to challenge these unjust systems. They faced resistance, opposition, and danger, but they broke the limits of their time and changed the world for generations to come. What we often forget is that these individuals were ordinary people with extraordinary determination. They had fears, doubts, and moments of failure. But what set them apart was their refusal to accept limits as permanent. They believed that barriers were made to be broken and that belief empowered them to push forward when everyone else stepped back. History shows us that limitations are not fixed walls. They are just temporary lines drawn by doubt, fear, or ignorance. Every invention, every law changed, every movement that shifted the course of humanity. All of it began when someone decided to question what was considered impossible. When we study these moments from the past, we don't just learn about success. We learn that courage and persistence have the power to rewrite the rules, that boundaries are meant to be tested, and that every great step forward starts with the belief that the limit in front of us is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. Failure is part of the journey, not the end. One of the biggest myths about success is that it's a straight path, that you set a goal, work hard, and eventually reach it without setbacks. But the truth is far from that. Failure is not a detour from the path to success. It is part of the path. In fact, failure is often the very thing that teaches us the lessons we need in order to grow, adapt, and ultimately succeed. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable has also faced failure, and not just once, but many times. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His countless failed attempts were not wasted time. They were stepping stones that led to the invention of the light bulb. J.K. Rowling, before becoming one of the world's most successful authors, was rejected by multiple publishers and struggling through personal hardships. Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, was once cut from his high school basketball team. What these individuals share is not just talent. It's the ability to persevere through failure without losing sight of their vision. Failure forces us to reflect. It reveals our weaknesses, exposes our blind spots, and tests our resilience. But it also teaches us humility and determination. When we fall short, we learn what doesn't work, and more importantly, we learn what we're truly made of. Do we give up, or do we get up? That choice defines our journey. What often holds people back is not failure itself, but the fear of it. This fear can paralyze us, making us avoid taking risks or stepping outside of our comfort zones. But avoiding failure means avoiding growth. The most successful people are not those who avoided mistakes. They're the ones who failed, learned, and kept moving forward. They understand that setbacks are not signs of weakness, but signs that they are trying, stretching, and aiming for something meaningful. Failure also brings a kind of wisdom that success alone cannot teach. It develops resilience, the ability to bounce back stronger each time we fall. It cultivates patience, endurance, and grit. It reminds us that nothing worth having comes easy. And while success may bring applause, it is failure that builds character. So instead of viewing failure as the opposite of success, we should see it as a crucial ingredient of success. It is a test of how deeply we believe in our goals and how committed we are to achieving them. Those who embrace failure learn from it and use it as motivation. They are the ones who eventually rise higher than they ever thought possible. Your mindset defines your reality. The way you think, your mindset, has the power to shape the entire course of your life. It's not just about being optimistic or having a positive attitude. It's about understanding that your thoughts, beliefs, and mental habits form the lens through which you see the world and your place in it. A person with a strong, growth-oriented mindset sees possibilities where others see problems, and opportunities where others see obstacles. Think of your mind like the soil in a garden. Whatever you plant, whether it's seeds of hope or doubt, confidence or fear, will eventually grow and influence your actions. If your mind is filled with self-doubt, negative thinking, and fear of failure, then even the smallest challenge can feel overwhelming. On the other hand, if your mind is trained to believe in growth, learning, and perseverance, you'll approach challenges with curiosity and resilience instead of fear. Carol Dweck, a renowned psychologist, introduced the concept of a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and see effort as the path to mastery. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset believe their abilities are static and unchangeable, which makes them more likely to give up when faced with setbacks. The difference between these two mindsets can be the difference between a life of progress and a life of regret. Your mindset doesn't just influence how you feel. It literally affects the decisions you make, the risks you're willing to take, and how you respond to both success and failure. For instance, when someone believes they can learn a new skill, they are more likely to put in the effort, seek feedback, and stay motivated, even when it's hard. But someone who believes they're just not good at it will often give up before even trying. The outcome in both cases is not determined by talent, it's shaped by mindset. Moreover, mindset is contagious. The way you think not only affects you, but also the people around you, your classmates, your coworkers, your family, your team. A mindset that embraces possibilities, growth, and courage can inspire others to do the same. It creates a ripple effect, leading to a more empowering and collaborative environment. What's important to remember is that mindset isn't fixed. It can be changed, trained, and strengthened over time. By choosing to believe in progress, choosing to reframe challenges as learning opportunities, and choosing to speak to ourselves with encouragement instead of criticism, we begin to build a mindset that supports our goals instead of sabotaging them. When you change your mindset, you change your approach. And when you change your approach, you change your outcomes. And that's why your mindset doesn't just reflect your reality, it creates it. Hard work turns dreams into reality. Dreams are powerful. They give us purpose, ignite our passion, and push us to imagine a better future. But dreams alone are not enough. Without hard work, even the most brilliant dream remains just that, a distant hope. Hard work is the bridge that connects the world of imagination with the world of results. It transforms desire into achievement and vision into victory. We often admire the success of great individuals, whether they are athletes, artists, inventors, or entrepreneurs. But what we don't always see is the countless hours of effort behind the scenes, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the repetition, and the failure they had to endure along the way. Behind every overnight success is a story of years of persistence and struggle. Talent may open the door, but it is hard work that keeps it open and leads you through. Hard work teaches discipline. It trains your body and mind to stay consistent, even when motivation fades. There are days when you will feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. On those days, it's not talent or luck that will carry you forward. It's your ability to show up and put in the effort anyway. That daily commitment, even in the smallest form, adds up over time and becomes the foundation of progress. More importantly, hard work builds character. It humbles you because progress often comes slowly. It strengthens you because persistence through challenges creates resilience. And it grounds you because it reminds you that true achievement is earned, not given. Every time you choose to put in the effort, whether it's studying a little longer, practicing a little harder, or pushing through a tough moment, you're investing in your future self. Hard work also has a way of unlocking opportunities that were once out of reach. The more you work, the more skilled you become. The more skilled you become, the more confident and prepared you are when opportunity knocks. And often, those who are willing to work the hardest are the ones who create their own opportunities instead of waiting for them to arrive. Success is not about being the smartest, the fastest, or the most gifted. It's about being the most committed. It's about being the one who doesn't quit when things get hard, the one who keeps going when others stop. That kind of effort creates momentum, a quiet, steady force that drives you forward one small step at a time until suddenly your dream isn't a dream anymore. It's your reality. Impossible is just a word, not a fact. The word impossible carries a weight that can crush dreams before they ever have a chance to grow. It's a word often used to describe things we don't understand. haven't seen happen, or are afraid to try. But when we look closely, we realize that impossible is not a law of nature. It's a limitation of perspective. It is not a truth. It is a temporary opinion. The word itself is not a barrier. It's a challenge waiting to be answered. Throughout history, so many things were once labeled impossible. People once believed it was impossible to sail around the world, to cure deadly diseases, to travel to space, or to speak with someone on the other side of the globe. But time and again, human innovation, determination, and imagination have shattered those boundaries. Every time someone dares to ask a what if or a why not, the definition of what is possible expands. Impossible is often a reflection of current limits, not of future potential. When people say something can't be done, what they really mean is, it hasn't been done yet. It hasn't been done yet. But progress doesn't come from accepting what already exists. It comes from those who challenge the status quo and dare to believe in what others cannot yet see. People laughed at ideas like electric cars, artificial intelligence, heart transplants, and video calls, until they became a part of everyday life. More than just an external label, the word impossible can become internalized. We begin to tell ourselves that certain goals are unreachable, that certain paths are not meant for us, that success belongs only to others. But in truth, most of what we label impossible stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of falling short. If we allow fear to define our boundaries, we build a prison in our own minds and lock ourselves away from our own potential. The most powerful response to the word impossible is action. Every step forward, no matter how small, proves that limits are not fixed. It shows that obstacles can be overcome, ideas can be realized, and barriers can be broken. The very act of trying begins to change the narrative. Even if we don't succeed at first, we move the line of what's possible a little further out, making it more reachable for ourselves and for others who follow. Impossible is not a final verdict. It's a dare. It dares you to dream bigger, think differently, and work harder. It dares you to break free from average and attempt something extraordinary. Once you understand that the word is only as strong as the belief behind it, you begin to see it for what it truly is, not a wall, but a doorway. A doorway that opens only when you have the courage to walk through it, when you're willing to try despite the odds, and when you decide to be the one who proves that impossible was never real to begin with. Nothing is impossible, so let us remember, the impossible is not a barrier, it's an invitation to rise above limitations, to challenge the norms, and to pursue greatness with unwavering belief, relentless effort, and an open mind. The world has been changed time and again by those who dared to believe in what others thought could never be done. You and I hold that same power. Whatever your dream may be, whatever goal you carry in your heart, know this. It is within your reach, not because it will be easy, but because you are capable. Keep believing, keep striving, and keep rising. Because in the end, the only thing truly impossible is the dream you never begin. Thank you.